Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As always, you summed up the purpose of our getting together and our challenges very, very well. Let me note that as I considered today's hearing, as you noted, it's been the better part of 2 decades that GAO's good counsel has been presented to us about high-risk federal government programs. And also, as you noted, Mr. Chairman, in that time, the Department of Defense regrettably has consistently made that role. And today, in fact, as we look at the current listing, the Department still has responsibility, at least in part, for about half of GAO's list of high-risk management programs. But it seems to me even more disturbing than that is that once a DoD program makes the list, it doesn't seem to ever get fully removed. And this is, I guess, remarkable. It's also obviously somewhat disturbing, and it has to be an indication of one of 2 things. Surely this is either DoD management systems and processes and their inherent risk, or DoD management is incapable of addressing the root causes. It would appear this axiom holds true regardless of a particular administration, regardless of a controlling party in Congress, but is a consistent theme. But I think we would all be in dereliction of our duties were we to throw up our hands and simply accept as truth the Department cannot or will not address these challenges. As you noted, Mr. Chairman, there have been significant efforts, both from the Department side as well as from the oversight side here in this Congress, and yet any kind of significant resolution evades us. And at the end of the day, as I know you believe very strongly, Mr. Chairman, it's always the responsibility of this committee to assume a leadership role in advocating for reforms, particularly for those high-risk areas. More importantly, we're really at a critical juncture here as ongoing military readiness needs and fiscal pressures place DoD increasingly in a position where it cannot tolerate ineffective and inefficient management processes and technologies. Put it very bluntly, we can't stand by and allow some in Congress or in the Department or anywhere to cut programs supporting our military families or programs desperately needed to maintain and modernize our force in lieu of a concerted effort by both branches of government, the administration as well as Congress, to boost efficiency of spending and to root out waste. And members of this committee do, I know, but we must stand as a vanguard against hasty and ill-conceived reductions to programs that some might try to cloak under the guise of reform. We have to be realistic. Nearly half of the areas for which DoD is responsible require interagency solutions, thereby compounding the challenge. I would add as well, before we admonish DoD and other agencies too vociferously, we should also examine how our own structure within the Congress impedes or fosters interagency solutions. And I would certainly be interested in any recommendations GAO might have on this score. In the end, risk is inherent in any organization responsible for so many personnel, so many dollars, so many contracting actions and systems, and that's why GAO has recommended DoD has adopted and Congress has codified the role of the Chief Management Officer. Currently, the Deputy Secretary of Defense serves as the CMO. The ability of the DepSecDef to take an active role in internal DoD management may be dependent on personality or circumstances, and how do we ensure that the management of the day-to-day DoD processes is not just an ad hoc duty. Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you for having this hearing today. I'm certainly grateful for the opportunity. I want to add my words of welcome and deep appreciation to our guest here today. GAO certainly here in matters of defense, but across the board in government operations has been often a guiding light in our efforts to do a better job with our charges, and we look forward to their comments today. And let me note in conclusion that I want to underscore that although I strongly believe continued reforms of procurement and DoD's other business processes are essential, I have to break with those that might point to waste and mismanagement in the Department of Defense as grounds for tightening the defense budget. Cuts in programs that suffer from cost overruns are warranted when they reform behaviors that lead to negative procurement outcomes. But employing across-the-board cuts, as some in Washington propose, is, in my judgment, a blunt instrument that does little to restructure the Defense Department's business practices. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll yield back the balance of my time.